Esther, hi. Good to see you again.
Lovely to
Where are
see
you?
you.
Where are you right now?
I'm in Mossel Bay, so still in Mossel Bay in South Africa.
Last time we spoke, you were social media and conservation manager at Oceans Research, uh,
Yes,
but now you've moved to Fire Island Conservation.
that's
Uh,
right. Yeah. So I actually, COVID times and all that, I wasn't sure where things were going with work. So I started to sort of put the feelers out and I got offered a copywriting position. So a little step back about a decade of my career, but it actually worked out really well because one of our main clients, in fact, our absolutely main client is a conservation company. So it's Fire Island Conservation and Fire Island Eco Retreats. So just like perfectly aligns with what I want to do in life. So it's great.
it sounds really good. I'm just going to read a little bit from your press release that you sent through to me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Once ravaged by poachers, Ilha de Fogo is now the centre of conservation on the northeast coast of Mozambique. Soon it will be opened up as an exclusive luxury retreat focused on scuba diving and ecotourism.
Yes.
Sounds very impressive. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, definitely. So actually there were plans in place about a decade ago to build this like nice, beautiful boutique 5-star resort on this private island. But when the owner got there with my boss, they discovered it actually being just completely destroyed by, well, not destroyed, sorry, it was just being ravaged by poachers. So they were like destroying the marine life there, like taking what they wanted. Subsistence poaching mostly, or so it was believed, but like unfortunately there was a lot of turtle victims on the island. So they realized that there was a real need there to actually try and protect the species that were being wiped out there. And then plans were put in place to sort of set up a kind of monitoring program there instead. And that kind of evolved to realize that, for any sort of conservation projects, you need a bit of income behind them. And so they wanted to sort of reintroduce a retreat. But the retreat is now more focused on ecotourism. So it's very, very sort of limited. Up to 10 people can go onto the island to do these scuba retreats, which is nice, very exclusive. And for this beautiful little island, it's an amazing opportunity.
It sounds like it's still being built in there behind you.
Yes, goodness, sorry. Yeah, and I'm at my office, so that the kids wouldn't be in the picture, and then we are sort of cutting through one part of the office. I didn't expect the builders to be in tonight, so I do apologise.
Not to worry. So I assume the resort isn't open yet, or is it?
So it's in the throes of being open. So it's on this the last part of being ready to be open. So I mean, actually, like we could definitely have groups going at the moment, for this beautiful tented accommodation that we have. I mean, I say tented, but it doesn't glam it up enough. It's like these tents are en suite and they have like furniture and like they're really amazing. Yeah, I was lucky to experience staying in one myself when I was on the island. And so they're all ready. And then we're going to have a couple of like purpose-built sort of chalets as well.
So environmentally and with sustainability in mind, so how are the chalets actually constructed and looking?
Oh, they're looking amazing, definitely. So they've actually been sort of built on these platforms, so they're not going to destroy any of the vegetation underneath them. So the way it's been constructed, my explanation of it isn't going to be good enough, but it's like a floating platform, which doesn't actually levitate, but the way it's been done is done with like obviously the environment in mind and making sure that nothing underneath would be destroyed, and that you could actually like pretty much pick it up and move it and you wouldn't even see it being there. Like almost didn't see that it had been there. And also where they're placing everything is in the natural clearing, so they're not clearing out any of the vegetation, because there's actually a forest on the island, so they obviously want to keep that intact as possible. So they're just using the natural clearings that are there, which is why everything's kind of spread apart. All the accommodation is nothing is right next to each other, which makes it even more exclusive and more private, which was a big sort of draw for me. I really liked it.
And where does the power come from for your electricity and
solar power. So again, all everything is just being so well thought out. It's like very close to my heart. So everything is solar powered there. So I mean, we had electricity there, and you have everything running. The generators are running, but it's all run through solar power.
And water.
And the water, well, they're going to be setting up again like these sort of solar stills that collect like the rainwater and a kind of rainwater harvesting system. And they have had to, in the meantime, bring sort of water onto the island, but that is almost completed as well. So they're going to have like the natural rainwater harvesting system. So, and it's all done through these solar stills that have been sort of purpose developed as well.
Sounds great. So when you're up and running, how many people are you going to be able to facilitate?
So I mean, it could facilitate like dozens, but that's part of the eco part of it, is to make sure that there's not going to be a big footprint isn't left on the island. And to do that, you can't have too many people. You don't want to have, all these people to cater for in terms of like, utilizing the sources that are there, the resources that are there, and then like managing the waste that's there as well. And obviously, like, people produce waste. And although there is a system put in place for that, you don't want too many people to have to sort of manage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is a double-edged sword, isn't it? Getting money from tourists to come in, but then how you deal with all of the waste, as you're saying. It's a fine balance. But it sounds like you're getting it just right.
Yes. It'll be, like I say, it'll be groups like at a push 10. I think we're trying to limit it to 8, but I think like we can manage 10, possibly 12 once like the chalets have been built as well. But it's really going to be very private. I mean, such a I mean, the island isn't tiny, So I mean, you could actually go there with a group of people and not see them constantly, which is again part of the beauty of it.
Actually, how big is it?
So I think it's 2 kilometer circumference. So yeah, it's maybe a little bigger than that actually, but it felt like a lot longer to me. But I'm like, I'm not a natural sort of hiker or anything like that. So so it's about 2 kilometers circumference. So quite large. It takes you a while to walk around, put it that way.
So how is the conservation aspect of all this actually physically going to work? I mean, you're getting the tourists to help you with that in some way, or are they simply just paying for other people to do the work?
So, I mean, we are already in talks with a number of researchers. We've had researchers from Sea Search on the island, and they were in awe of the sort of biodiversity there. They brought some audio moths with them and hydro moths with them. So they record the sort of the bio sound or the bioacoustics on the island. So they're quite impressed with what was there, certainly underwater anyway. So there will be a number of researchers that will hopefully be conducting some of their own projects of the island, and then the tourists that come, although we're sort of like pegging it as like the scuba trips, they can certainly get involved. What we were really hoping from some of the scuba divers that come is that they will be interested enough to help us collect some data on the biodiversity, because genuinely we don't know what's out there. The kilometre stretches 150 kilometres from our island. It's incredible. We've maybe explored 1% of that, maybe not even 1% of that. So we don't have a clue what's really there. And it would be so amazing to find out exactly what we have in all these reefs. I mean, there's some deep water pinnacles as well as like all the shallow reefs around the island. So there could be anything.
So you haven't managed to explore that much of it yet, but what you have seen, are you seeing, it's so close to the African coast anyway. Are you not seeing effects of overfishing and, netting and?
Yes, so for the sort of the poachers that are there, definitely they're like taking out quite a lot of the octopus. And obviously closer to shore, there are boats going out, and that they're not fishing in large numbers. You're not talking about like trawlers and super trawlers, thankfully. But I mean, what's taking out isn't exactly is indiscriminate. So there's a lack of education amongst the fishing communities over what should be taken and what should be left. So that's part of our future projects as well, is to work closer with the fishing communities, just to educate them on what should be taken, how it should be taken, and how to sort of preserve the environment that's there. So we don't want to say stop fishing, don't take this. We're just going to try and maybe educate them about how to do it without leaving such a large footprint.
Which would be great if that works. And I see in tandem with that, you've got just looking at the Fire Island website, you've got fish farm starting up, you've got woodwork projects, pottery. So I assume this is for local people to learn new skills and develop an income.
That's it, exactly. So what we want to do is obviously implement these projects so that the local communities, instead of turning to poaching, they've got another income opportunity. So that's why we decided that woodwork is a great one, because we've already got links with the only FSC registered forestry in Mozambique. So we can do it obviously without sort of destroying the tree life that's there, because again, Mozambique has a bit of a problem with that, unfortunately, with deforestation. And in the pottery, I'm not sure if you know Tom Daly, the underwater photographer. So he is a potter by trade, which we didn't know. It was amazing. He's been involved with the island project for a couple of years now. So when we found that out, it was just like perfect. It like linked in so well. So now he's going to be setting up these pottery workshops as well to get the locals involved. And what's nice about both the woodwork and the pottery is if we can produce items that can then be sold, we can involve kind of everybody in that. There's like opportunities for women as well, because there's a little bit of a lack of women empowerment in the community, so we can get a lot of different people involved in all aspects of these companies or these projects.
How many people are there on the island?
And the island itself at the moment is just going to be a handful. Yeah, there are a few that are still involved in the development, but once they're gone, it's just going to be like the host, the chef, and we obviously have our turtle monitors as well. So they are like our security. So they monitor the area. And the poaching that or the poachers that approach the island. So like all that's in place at the moment, but it's just going to be a handful of people that'll be permanently there. We do have a land base as well, that's currently at Bani, and there's like a lodge there where guests stay until we're ready to launch the boat as well, to take them over to the island. So there's a few people that work there.
Okay. So, the islands and the marine environment around it, as well as just in brackets standard reef life. You say you've got turtles there; they're coming and breeding on the beaches, as well as the turtles. What other species do you have there?
So the two confirmed species that we have there are green turtles and the hawksbill. So hawksbill being critically endangered, it's like really, it's such an essential nesting ground for them that we have on the island. We do believe that there are olive ridleys, though we haven't seen them ourselves. We just know that they are possibly in the area, so we're obviously on the lookout for those. But the other two are definitely confirmed. And we found, when Sea Search were there, we found a number of carapaces from both species as well. Very sad to see a number of skulls, and it's obviously not the best to find them in that state, but we did see live turtles as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Esther, it's brilliant to catch up with you. The project sounds fantastic. Thanks for taking time to tell us about it. Matter of interest, how do people get out there?
So, I mean, the trip in itself is incredible. Obviously, it takes you through rural Mozambique because you travel into Maputo, which is obviously like everybody knows from Mozambique. But there you take a flight up to Kiliman, or I think there's another stop that you could go to. I think it's Nampula, if I'm getting that name right. But I went to Kiliman. And then from there, it's a drive to the land base and then a boat out to the island. So we're not saying it's like a quick and easy trip, but honestly, part of the incredible experience that you get is to see rural Mozambique like nobody else gets to see it. It was amazing. I loved seeing the sort of the real culture from the rural communities on the drive.
Oh, what an experience.
Yes.
Yeah, that is amazing. And trips that come with you, do people just have to turn up themselves, or have you got guides, people who are going to bring you cross country?
Yes, we have everything set up. We luckily work with an incredible travel team, so they organise every aspect of the trip. So, and we have like experienced hosts and experienced guides and drivers and everything like that. We understand that it's like it's not something that people can sort of put together themselves as a trip. So we have it all planned out for people to get there. So literally all they have to do is make sure they get on their flights, and that's it.
Brilliant, fantastic. Well, once again, Esther, thank you very much. I hope the project goes well. I wish you the best with it. It sounds a fabulous project and a great place to do it. So
absolutely, yeah. And I mean, do you know, sorry, could I just add, I found out so much about shipwrecks in the area as well. So I'm really excited that there is a very high possibility of a shipwreck being off our island, because they have detected on the magnetometer, I always get that name wrong, I think it's magnetometer, some sort of metal disturbances. So we're really hoping it's one of the Vasco da Gama fleets. I'm not sure if it would definitely be one of those, but it's certainly something interesting. So it's yet to be discovered. That's like on the list of things that we're hoping to discover this year.
That would be quite something. In fact, I was just reading, I think it was on your Facebook page, about some. There's a celebrity on a crew out there looking for wrecks.
I better not name names, because obviously,
No.
caught for slander, but there's just a rumor going around, sadly, that there is a team who are filming off of our coastline. There have been vessels spotted off of our island, and this is just, again, honestly, just a rumor. We have not had it confirmed by anyone specific, but they're towing something that looks like a sonar or a magnetometer, which suggests that they're looking for shipwrecks, and the company that is involved are known shipwreck, a shipwreck or commercial shipwreck recovery team. So they have in the past taken artifacts from shipwrecks in the Mozambique coastline. So I will not name names, but it's not good news, obviously, but it could be very legitimate. It could just be that they're looking for the wrecks and maybe just going to do a bit of filming there. We're just not sure, because they're not necessarily checked in with the right authorities. So.
Right. I did, reading the article, I did actually wonder if this was good or bad news. Whether you don't know yet. It all depends on the company and how they behave, I suppose.
And the name, the celebrity name is pretty a big name, so I would hope this person wouldn't want to be associated with anything that wasn't legitimate. So I'm sure it is just that they're filming the wrecks themselves. So that's the hope. Yeah.
Fingers crossed that they are responsible.
Exactly.
Well, once again, Esther, lovely to talk to you, and we'll catch up again sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Jay.
Take care now.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.